this has an impact with both of them. And by the way, you are not Judge Judy. Sorry I'm saying this, but why would you feel like judging and saying? Hi everybody, I hope that you are fine. Most of us have lived or are living a situation where two people that we love are in conflict. And this is a very difficult position to be in, because what do? Do you take one side or the other side? Do you say something? You don't say anything? But it's also important if you happen to be in a group where you don't know any of them, but you know that these two people are in conflict. Why? Because all positions are important, because, see guys, energy-wise, you are doing something too. So we are going to dive deep into this from this perspective of, I don't know any of them, but they happen to be in the group where I'm at, and both of them are in conflict too. Yeah, I love both of them. What do I do? And even like to be in like these two people in conflict. So I will only share with you one side, because at the end of this I'll share everything, but it's because I would like you to experience this and to be completely honest with yourself when you only know one side. So if I told you now both sides, you wouldn't be able to fully experience this. So I would like you to pay attention to your feelings, to your thoughts, to your conclusions, to your judgments, if there are any judgments, to how you feel inside, and to any physical sensations, okay? But I'll keep reminding this to you. So let's start with Sarah and James, okay? And you are in this group with them. It's a WhatsApp group, and sometimes you just go to places like a sort of like a meetup thing. And now one of your friends who is in this group tells you, oh, Marta, do you know that Sarah broke up with James? And then this is what you would do. Who is Sarah and who is James? Okay? But you know, people sometimes don't stop there and they keep being noisy. You know, maybe I would ask the same, I don't know. But like, oh, so, okay, I don't know them, but what did happen? And your friend is like, you won't believe this. So she actually was in this raging moment. But you know, I've been told that, you know, she has this behavior sometimes, so probably not a surprise. And then James came to their house, and all of a sudden her clothes weren't there, and she had taken all his money. Well, not his money, because it was actually both, the money from both, but all that money that they had into this bank account that they had together. And that's it. So, you know, what a bitch that this woman is, but I think I knew. Right. And you are left with this information, okay? Now, you don't know Sarah, you don't know James. And your friend has told you this. What do you feel, you know? And also, you probably think that this has nothing to do with you. But, you know, we are talking as usually about that we are sharing the same energy field, that we are all connected. I have talked about projections, you know, in the episode, things not going your way, this is why, so I invite you to have a look at that, and some other things I have talked about the same. But yes, this has to do with you. Why? Because you are in a group where two people are in conflict, and you have just been told this information. It could have been that you would have been in another group with no people in conflict and everybody, you know, very in balance. Not your case. So this has to do with you, otherwise it wouldn't be in your field, okay? What is this telling you, or could be telling you? This is just telling you about some inner conflicts that you could have with yourself. This is why you could be seeing some conflicts with other people outside you. But this has to do with you. Or maybe you are having a specific conflict with someone else, like yourself. So ask yourself these questions. Now, what do you do with the information that you have? Most of humans would judge this situation and they would get to the conclusion, okay, I trust my friend. Because I trust my friend must be right, so Sarah is a bitch. Okay? Because here we are trying to be more aware. Guys, ask yourself all this. Does your friend know for sure both sides and what happened? Because if your friend doesn't, how can your friend get to this conclusion? Okay? So ask yourself this. Why is your friend sharing this information with you? And ask as well, not only stay with the questions if you can actually ask, okay? I actually have this episode called Don't Assume, Just Ask, which I recommend to watch during this video as well, like pause it and, just go and watch it. Because as human beings, this is how we are, because of our own assumptions and based on our past experiences, we just think and assume that things are this way when we actually ask, oh, why did you do that? Or how did that happen? And we give a chance to the other person to explain, we most of the time realize that it's not what we thought that it was, okay? But let's keep with you. Now, realize and remember that the moment that you are judging, you have taken a side and you are going to keep yourself in this loop. In this loop with them, no. In this loop with you, where conflict will keep amplifying and amplifying because you have judged this, so you have created an attachment with the situation itself. So now you are just in sort of like asking universe to keep bringing more of the same and the same and the same, and every time like closer to you. And when I say closer, I mean in the sense of like close relationships, because just now you happen to be in the easiest position, okay? Because you are just the observer. You have been sold some information, but you know no one. Like you don't know both of them. So, in fact, no feelings should be there, no judgment should be there, because you know nothing. So you are in the easiest position, and because this would be like the start of the snowball, but I'll keep going on this. Just give me 1 second. But ask yourself, if you are judging and you have decided that you are taking this side, this is what you will keep projecting, and that you will keep seeing, like closer and closer to you until you actually deal with what emotions and thoughts and beliefs and body sensations came to you and keep coming to you the moment that you have the idea of someone doing this wrong thing to someone else, okay? So now, since you are in the easiest position, what could you do? Because maybe people will tell you, choose your own battles. Yes, I agree with that, but that's the thing. If you have taken, even if you don't say anything, okay, if inside you have already taken a side, you have chosen the battle, which is this one, even though if you don't say anything. So pay attention to the judgments that you are doing about this, and ask yourself, do I know for sure that this is what happened? Do I know James' side? Should I ask someone from James' side to explain me, what happened? Am I interested anyway? Should I just pass? And that's the thing. People usually would start chatting about, what happened in that group, in WhatsApp. So you even start reading, oh, Sarah, you are a bitch. How did you do this to James? Or James, I am fully supporting you. Or, so you even see that people are taking sides, right? So what do you do, guys? What do you do? Right, I would invite you to ask yourself, what would you like someone to do for you if you were in this situation, okay? Why am I saying this? Because let's say that you are actually Sarah, and let's say that you actually think that you did nothing wrong, or that you actually really did nothing wrong. And now you are being accused by all these people about what you did to James. Would you like to be in that situation? Like, what would you do? You know? Would you like that someone gave you a chance for you to explain yourself as well? Like, what would you like to happen? But first and foremost, ask yourself this question. This is the question that I would like for you to keep in mind if this is happening to you and during watching this video, which is, are you adding peace or are you adding conflict? This is the main thing that I would like you to ask yourself with whatever you do. It doesn't matter if it's only from thought or if it's actually from words that you are saying or from actions that you are taking. Are you adding peace or conflict? What is your intention? Because in this channel we are trying to be aware. We are trying to connect, to be the love that we are, and you know, and peace. And so if you are actually supporting conflict, why, ask yourself, why are you asking this? What, you know, why would you be doing this? What's the point on this? So imagine that maybe you have believed your friend and you are there, you know, chatting and saying, yes, Sarah, you are a bitch, blah, blah, blah. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Okay? And I'm going to give you another suggestion, because maybe what you would like to do is either nothing, okay? Or maybe you would like to say something like, you know, guys, I can see that James has his perspective, but I can also see or imagine that Sarah has hers. You know? So maybe it would be interesting to hear both sides, if anything, you know? Because maybe the point wasn't actually to share anything in the group, but since it was shared in the group, maybe it would be interesting to know Sarah's side as well. And yeah, maybe you'll get like some nasty comments. This talks about who? About the people who are saying this, not about you, because now you are in this peaceful and curious, you know, space, and your intention now is actually to bring more awareness, love, peace, etc. So you realize that you don't want to be adding conflict and you want to add peace. So this feels more peace, like more of like resolution. If you were in that position, would you like that someone, you know, at least gave you this chance, you know, to be understood or heard? Most of us would say yes, you know, because it's not the same if everybody is only listening to one side as is if, you know, everybody is actually open to listen to both and to maybe mediate. You know, I'm not saying that you have to do this, you know, but there are other possibilities, but some of them are bringing more peace and some of them are not. And what is your gain by supporting one side if you don't even know the other person? And would you like people to do this if you were actually the one who had done nothing? You know? So this actually invites to have more dialogue, more understanding, and for you to keep being neutral, you know? First and foremost, you need to deal with your own emotions, how this situation is making you feel, being in a group where two people are in conflict and reading all these comments. How does it make you feel? This, what's happening outside is important, but it's important that you feel and check how this is making you feel to you, and that you deal with your own emotions, and that you are completely aware and honest with your emotions. Maybe this is reminding you when your parents were actually arguing, you know, and how you were feeling with that. So this could be a reflection or a projection, you know, of that, for you to see it and for you to experience it and to transcend that. But check what you want to do here and what this is going to create, for you supporting one side, or for you just opening this. So, guys, maybe we could talk about this. Maybe you happen to be a counselor or a therapist, maybe you would feel like, guys, I would be happy to help both of you. Would you like to have this conversation in private with myself? Maybe one day one, the other day the other one, maybe at some point both of you together, So this would be from this observer position. But realize that you are actually contributing anyway with your energy, your thoughts, your emotion. You are contributing. So how do you want to contribute in the situation? Okay? Let's move forward and let's start to do this a little bit more complicated. So you actually are a friend of James, okay? But you don't know Sarah. You are James' friends, really good friends, and he's just told you what I just shared. Sarah just, left me with no money. She just took the money from our bank account. She took her clothes. I just can't believe it. I am heartbroken. I am shocked. I feel so angry. Now I want all my money back. I think that she has stolen everything and she, I don't know, she has gone like somewhere. She has been lying to me all this time. I knew it. I think you actually told me. Okay, now, this ask yourself the same thing. What do you want to do? Add to the conflict or add to the peace side of this, okay? First of all, check how this is making you feel. That your friend is leaving this situation from Sarah, okay? Now, it's very easy, very, 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 very easy that you just take a side, which is going to be your friends, because you want to support your friend, you want to be there for your friend, you want to show your friend that you are going to stand up for him, and you actually go on the chat, you call out, Sarah, you even talk to the admin of the group to remove Sarah. You want to make Sarah's life impossible after what she did to James. Okay, but just check how all this is making you feel and ask yourself, why do you need to do this? Okay, why? Because maybe sometimes there are other underlying intentions. For example, if I am showing this now to James, I know that then when I need it, James is going to be there for me. So this is an underlying intention and it's not the original one, which is just supporting him and standing up for him. But now, does this seem to you that you are contributing to peace or to fight? To fight. Because now you have taken a side, now you want people to be on your side, now you want people to see Sarah as the bad person, and are you helping your friend? No, you are not helping your friend, because you are increasing what your friend is already telling you and feeling. I'm not saying that you don't do it, but pay attention to the intentions that you are having by doing this and the emotions that you are having as well by doing that too, okay? Because one thing is doing this. Do you think that this is helping James to have more awareness with himself, with what happened with the situation, with how he's feeling, or not? Actually not, because we still keep talking about Sarah. What about James? Hold on, how do you feel? Okay, do you need to talk about this? What do you need? And just be there. Sometimes that's enough. Just be there. You don't need to do anything else. Just listening. Sometimes that's enough. And then this is helping your friend, to feel more calm, to release, maybe to cry, whatever the moment that he's like feeling just now. And then afterwards, maybe he feels different, and also different about Sarah. And maybe he's able to see things that he didn't see before. Okay? But just a suggestion, help him to have more awareness with himself and to bring the attention to himself, and then maybe you don't even feel the need to call out Sarah. I am not saying that you don't have to do it. Maybe you will have to do it Maybe she really has done something, that needs to be said so that she doesn't do this to other people. But if you do this from this place that is not coming from your heart, you are adding conflict, battle, and fight. And this is extending to the field and to the whole world, not only into your field, to everybody's. Why? Because by you doing this, you know what's going to happen. Then Sarah's friends are going to jump into this as well, and they are going to be fighting with you and you with them, when all this only had to do with James and Sarah. So this is a consequence that wouldn't have to happen if maybe you, as James' friends, but just as well as someone who is aware and who wants to bring more peace and love, said something like, yeah, okay, I hear you, I understand you, do you know for sure, or have you tried, talking to Sarah, why she has done this? Maybe he'll say, oh, actually, no, I just got into, all that, and no, I haven't. Okay, maybe you could do it. And just trying to bring some resolution at the same time that you are being on your friend's side, because this doesn't mean that you have taken Sarah's side, but at some point you will realize that no side was necessary, because both of them are experiencing some conflicts or some truths or some perspectives, different perspectives, and both of them are seeing things from different ways, and this is why they have reacted the way that they have reacted. Okay? But you, by helping your friend, just by being there, just by listening, not trying to change anything, maybe this changes the situation on its own. Then your friend feels more relaxed, then you too, and then from this standpoint, actions are different as well, even if you end up calling out the other one. Maybe you won't insult, maybe you will just say, hey, I have heard this, what did happen? Maybe you are going to invite to a dialogue with Sarah as well, because again, put yourself in, that situation where, let's say that you really did nothing wrong, and you are having all these people coming onto you, would you like to be there? Or would you like actually someone to invite you as well to share your side? Since all this is being shared. I'm not saying that this had to be shared again, but let's say that it has. Or maybe someone just saying, let's keep this in private, but guys, I would like that all of you were aware that there are two sides here, okay? You don't need to remove anyone from this group. You don't need to convince anyone that the other person is this bad. Especially if you don't know the other person, especially if you don't know their truth, and especially if you want to be really a good friend of James, okay? Because maybe James, because he is in this spiral of thoughts and rage and disappointment or sadness, he's not able to do anything else. But you, from a calm perspective, since this in fact has nothing to do with you, can see beyond, can stay, calm and connected to your heart, and just help him to see what else could be going on. This is going to depend obviously on James' level of consciousness, on your level of consciousness, awareness, etc., etc. But really, if you want to be aware, if you want to bring more peace, I would invite you to question all these things within you, and then to decide what you really want to see in the outside. Do you really want to see all these people and yourself getting in conflict, and adding on both sides, when this could actually be just resolved? Just listen to both sides, just stay neutral, and just at least mentioning, I'm sure that they both have their perspectives, I happen to be, James' friends, but I'm sure that Sarah has, her perspective as well. But if James was actually asking you, she has done this to me, so now you should do this for me to her. Remember, okay, that what you do talks about you. Never blame James or your friend for asking you to do something if you end up doing it, because the decision is always yours, okay? So if your friend is asking you to do something that you don't want to do, or that you think because you want to be aware of yourself that this is not nice, and you end up doing it, don't blame your friend, because this is now your responsibility. You have decided to do this, okay? So, and ask yourself, is this really a good friend asking you, to do this? You know what I mean? And if you say no, and your friend gets angry, still, is he a good friend? Or if your take here is just, James, I'm just going to listen. Let's talk about this. Let's explore the emotions. I'm going to hold space for you. Let's explore where all this can be coming from. I know that you probably are not a therapist, okay? Maybe you can recommend actually, James, to see someone who understands more about all this, okay? But just holding space for him, and trying to help to see more perspective. And what this creates. And if your friend is not happy with that because you are not giving him the action that he expects, like calling out the other one or fighting with the other, as yourself as well. Maybe he's actually in a bad moment, so he doesn't mean this, okay? So be patient with that, but ask yourself as well if this is the friendship that you want, So when you are trying to promote peace and dialogue and, maybe at the end calling out anyway, but like trying to do this from a different standpoint, more like from the heart, and your friend is like, no, never, and I don't want to be your friend, well, ask yourself this to you, like if this really is a nice friendship or not, okay? Now, let's keep doing this more complicated. By the way, I invite you to watch the Shack movie. I have recommended that before, but I think it's a good one because it has to do with judgment. Because again, depending on what you are doing, you are judging the whole situation, okay? And you keep yourself attached to that just by energy, just by giving attention to that, and by judging. It doesn't mean that you even need to say anything, just in your mind, okay? So now let's say that both of them, right? This is the most complicated situation, okay? But this is going to come down to the same thing. Do you want to add peace or conflict? Because, sometimes you are more friends of one than the other, and you maybe believe more one side than the other, and maybe you haven't even listened to the other side, and you're just, yes, friend, James, I know, I'm with you. What she did is really bad, and, ask yourself, are you adding to the conflict or to the solution? Because this is to the conflict. Because now he thinks that he's more right than he was before. Of course, you can control, what he's going to think, but usually this is what would happen. Now what, you are going to be in the same room, and what, are you going to sit next to him? Are you going to leave Sarah alone? Maybe Sarah did something wrong, but so far she hasn't had any chance to talk. So far people have just taken, James' side. Think really how you would feel and what do you want to see in this world, because you are the example, so what you do has an impact. So far guys, I want you to realize that every position is important here. Not because you have been only the observer and you don't know any of them, you have less of an impact. The impact will happen anyway. Maybe it's going to be more intense or less intense, but only with energy there's going to be an impact. But now, you are friends of both. What would you like to happen if you were in that situation, Maybe a suggestion, you would like, to talk to the other friends, because that Sarah and James are both nice people, and maybe you would like to invite your friends to talk about this, and maybe to talk and sit with one of them, maybe with the other one, and maybe at the end like to bring both of them together and to be with them. Maybe not. Maybe you would like to suggest, guys, maybe we should always listen to what Sarah has to say. You know, if anything, at the end of the day, this comes down to these two, okay? But since you happen to be there, would it be helpful if we listen to you both? But guys, with what intention? Really, very important. What intention do you have with this? Because maybe underlying it, it could be that, in fact, I want James to win. No. Are you being honest with yourself? So you really need to check this, because this has an impact with both of them. And by the way, you are not Judge Judy. Sorry I'm saying this, but why would you feel like judging and staying with one and not the other, you know? And who hasn't made a mistake? Or has done something bad? We are not perfect, okay? So I'm not saying that we don't need to do anything when someone is really doing, you know, nasty things. I'm not saying this, but I'm only saying that if we keep stuck in this behavior of you did right, the other did good, did wrong, and let's fight, and you know, this is happening in this small circle, but this is what's happening anyway in humanity, and none of this is necessary, you know, and people have been even removed from groups just by that, because someone said something about someone and the other person was more of a friend of someone, and then, you know, the other person is gone. Why that? Isn't it more peaceful? You know what? Maybe we could talk about this in private. I am happy to help. Yes, you could be right on that, but what about the other one? Could we just talk about this, all of us, or only the two of us with me, or with two of us, and let's try to mediate, you know, this situation, especially since we are in the same group, or we are friends, or we usually go to places together. And I'll tell you something that will happen, guys, that maybe then one of these two could feel like, you know what, guys, thank you for listening, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I am realizing that I did something that wasn't nice. I tried to, you know, fix this with the other person. It hasn't worked. And you know what? Just now I think it's better for us, or for myself, or, you know, to even the other person, for me, to just step back for some time, okay? Doesn't it feel better than just removing people, blaming people, taking sides, you know? And actually it happens organically. Like one of them will feel like, you know what, maybe it's better, you know. But this person is not feeling guilty, is not feeling accused, is not feeling removed, is not feeling powerless, is not feeling abandoned, is not feeling judged. It just happened natural. Because conflicts are natural. Conflicts are natural. This is how we grow anyway, you know? Yeah, the suggestion that I gave you before, watch this episode, don't assume, let's ask, you know, just ask. Or the other one that I did as well, things not going your way. This is why, because I also talk about projections and mirrors and what these situations could be telling us. And if you don't want more coffee, stop asking for coffee. I'll actually leave the link for this one, because that could be helpful as well. But yeah, don't assume, just ask. Because really, guys, because now I'll give you what happened as well with the last position, if there is like a last one, which is Sarah. Okay, so I didn't want to say what happened with Sarah before, because if I had done that, I would have given you the opportunity to check how it really felt, only knowing what side, okay? And to check your own emotions, your own feelings, your own judgments, because then you would have had the other filter, and then you don't see things the same way. If you're doing some inner work, probably yes, but maybe you wouldn't be able to, okay? And maybe now you will feel afterward to watch this video again, now knowing what was going on. Feel free to do it as well. So this is what happened to Sarah. So Sarah met James 8 months ago. She fell in love with him. They really went into the relationship very quickly because they fell in love with each other. They really liked each other. They had many things in common. They even started talking about having children, and even started to have this project for both of them, like a new business. And let's say that 6 months ago, they even started, to put some money into this bank account, the both of them. Now, 2 weeks ago, Sarah receives a text message from Eileen, and Eileen tells her that James is married and that she was asking him for some money because an agreement that they had, okay? And he was giving her, this money. Maybe he borrowed that money from her, and so, he had to give her, all his money. And for the last 3 months, James hasn't given her any money whatsoever. And now she has discovered that he was with her. So now her intention was, to let her know, and that he is married, and, this whole lie, and, what's going on with the money, because she thinks that he is probably giving her the money that he is not giving to herself, and all that. So now you, as Sarah, check the bank account, and all of a sudden you realize that for the last 3 months, because you haven't checked that bank account before, James has been taking money from it instead of putting. So he has been taking money. He hasn't told you anything. He never told you that he is married. Like, what? And he's taking your money? Oh my God. So this is what you decide to do. Take your clothes and everything from that house. Take all the money, because actually this is your money, and just leave this guy. Like, how on earth he was able to do this? Pay attention as well just now if you are having any judgment about the situation and about both behaviors, because this is talking about you. And what you do is it talks about you as well, okay? Not about them. Again, this is down to them. But now let's listen to James' perspective. So James is technically married to Eileen, okay? But they are just waiting for the divorce. So in the country where he has been born, it's actually not an issue to not say to someone that they are married if they are actually just waiting for the divorce, because they are just waiting for the divorce. They have been separated for, I don't know, for how long, and he didn't feel the need to share that with Sarah. He loves Sarah. He wants to be with Sarah. It just, he didn't feel or thought that there was a need to share this, since he's going to get the divorce anyway, okay? Now, yes, he asked Eileen for some money, but that's the thing. Eileen never accepted that James didn't want to be with her, so of course she feels very angry at him. So she's going to use anything that she can and say, that they are still married, etc., just because she still hasn't accepted any of this, okay? But anyway, yeah, he had to give her all this money, and yeah, for the last 3 months, he hasn't done that. Why not? Because actually he lost his job. And that's the thing. Because he was actually starting to... He wanted to find another job, because maybe he was paying some things for the house, or for Sarah, or for, I don't know, whatever. He felt ashamed that he wasn't able to do that anymore. And he told himself, I am going to get a new job very quick. I'm going to get all this money back. I'm just going to put all this money into the bank account again. And yeah, then, maybe I won't even share anything, because actually it's himself feeling ashamed with himself for losing a job, for not being able to provide, So, yeah, he didn't do a nice thing not paying Eileen, taking the money from, Sarah's and himself bank account, not sharing anything with Sarah, because maybe Sarah would have been for him, and understanding, oh my God, yeah, you lost your job, blah, blah. But maybe he's in his mindset of, no, the man needs to provide, needs to prove that he's able, to have the job, and I want to prove this to Sarah from the beginning, because I had some bad experiences before where it seemed that, I wasn't that independent. I don't want this to happen to me again. Yes, guys, this is some inner work that James has to do and some realizations that he has to get into, but he had his side as well, okay? Now, the fact that he's always sharing what is best for himself, yes, Sarah left me, Sarah took money, Sarah blah and Sarah blah. Is this nice? No, this is not nice either. Of course this is not nice either. But again, this is what I'm trying to say. This is his job and what he needs to do with himself and his realization. So you, as his friend, this is what your work has to do, redirecting him to himself, and being with him and holding space with all these emotions and etc. and paying attention to your own emotions dealing with this. How do you feel? Because this has to do with you as well, okay? But this is what was going on, guys, so if both of them had someone aware, neutral, objective, just willing to put an ear or to bring some resolution and more peace, have been there and have allowed them, to talk, to really be honest, to share their side, if I'm being honest, I didn't do that, I didn't share with Sarah, blah, blah, blah. And then they can decide what, Sarah and James. Maybe Sarah doesn't want to talk to James again. Who knows? This comes down to who? To Sarah as well. Because then maybe Sarah could see why, okay, yeah, I understand why you did all that. Not nice. And you know what? I actually prefer another relationship. But really, thank you for being honest. This has a complete different energy of, you are like a son of a bitch, and what you did to me, and I'm going to prosecute you, and etc., etc. Again, I'm not saying that you don't need to do this, because maybe this is what you need to do, but if the energy that you are bringing is hate, hatred, and disgust, and you are not bringing what you would like to see in this world, unless this is what you want to see in this world. But in order for you to get to that stage, you really need to be in that stage, and you really need to be honest with your own emotions. And if you are not over this, you are not over this. And if you don't want to forgive James, don't forgive James. Don't force yourself to do something that you don't feel like doing, okay? But this is what in fact was going on, guys. So imagine all that was created in this group chat, you not knowing what was going on, what Sarah did, what James did. And maybe you will think, yeah, this is why people say if you take part in between like a couple or something like that, you are going to be the one losing it or something like that. But pay attention to this belief and quote as well. Is this really true? Or are we talking about all these people who actually went, with the intention of creating conflict or taking a side or not really being willing to listen to both sides and to really be neutral and to really bring, peace here? Like, let's talk about this as well, But anyway, at the end of the day, check how you feel. But if really you happen to be in this position where two people are in conflict, please, if you need to take anything from this episode, ask yourself the question: are you adding peace and love, or war and hatred? And is this what you want to see in the world? Thank you, guys. I love you.